Working up on the sand on Tuesday morning is Don't Forget This inside of Great Geronimo. Now, Don't Forget This goes around in race 1 with Furman Yap to take the ride. Draws the outside barrier. Only the one win in 23 starts, has the habit of missing the kick on the odd occasion, like he did here at the last meeting. But Don't Forget This goes around in the first, and Great Geronimo will be engaged in race number 2. The stablemates working together on Tuesday. Now this is Tongs Chiaching, who also goes around in race 1, normally races on the speed, the 8-year-old mare. Nowadays, I think 1,200 metres is as far as she likes, and CK Tan will take the ride and is coming off an unplaced effort there in Penang in the race won by Black is Power a fortnight ago. Tongs Chiaching goes around in race 1, draws barrier 6. Now this horse has undergone a stable change recently. Military Star looking quite sharp on the sand on Tuesday morning. Military Star will be ridden by Saddam. It goes around in race number 1 on Saturday. And Military Star coming off an unplaced effort there in KL back in January. Did trial impressively here at the track Tuesday week ago. So look for improvement there from Military Star, who goes around in the Sovereign Handicap. This is Born a Fighter, who's had the couple of runs here in Malaysia since coming across from Singapore. Of course, finished third here 2 runs back at the last meeting when he raced on the speed. Last start didn't have much luck from an outside barrier there at Penang. But AK Lim takes the ride on Born a Fighter, draws much better this weekend, comes out of barrier 7. That is Born a Fighter, goes around in the Sporting Gesture Handicap. That's race number 3. Miss Blanchette also goes around in race number 3. That's her working up on the outside of a stablemate. Now at 5 years of age is Miss Blanchette. Has had several runs in the country without notching a placing, but hasn't been far off the mark and is coming off a last start 4th to Classic King here at the last meeting. Reuven took it out for track work there on Tuesday. He takes the ride there in race number 3, Miss Blanchette, to be ridden by Reuven. Barrier number 5. That's Miss Blanchette. Now Supreme Star also goes around in the Sporting Gesture Handicap. He's had the 14 race starts for the 1 win, which was recorded last year in July. TM1 will take the ride. He took it out for its routine there on Tuesday morning. Supreme Star draws the outside barrier and is coming off a last start 5th to Always Degrade here back on the 22nd of April. That is Supreme Star. Now we've got Swan Song and Grand Show together. They're both engaged in race number 4, the Destine Handicap. And that is Swan Song, who is on the outside. He's coming off a recent win at Penang, and last start was placed at Ipoh, his first run for Kevin Coetzee. And Grand Show coming off a last start 4th to Zach Benevolent here back on the 22nd of April. So that is Swan Song on the outside of Grand Show. Both horses engaged in race 4. Now this is Gold Coast Captain, also goes around in race 4, and Gold Coast Captain has won over the 1,600 metres on 2 previous occasions, and he was looking quite sharp there on the sand Tuesday morning. He's coming off an unplaced effort there to Zach Benevolent last start, but his form prior to that was quite solid, including a runner-up placing to One More Achiever. And in form apprentice CK Core rides the gelding for the first time on Saturday. That is Gold Coast Captain. He goes around in the Destine Handicap there on Saturday. And carrying the number 41 saddlecloth here, going solo, is OD Star, a horse which did win an 1,800 metre contest earlier this year. Has had the 3 runs since, ran 4th over the same journey 2 runs ago, and it was unplaced over the shorter 1200 metres last start. Stepping back to the mile this weekend with Lou Ho in the saddle, that is OD Star, and draws barrier 10 in race 4. Now Zach Benevolent is engaged in race number 5. That is the Amusement Park Handicap. This horse, very good efforts here in Malaysia. 2 runs for 1 win, 1 second. 1 here over 1,600 metres in soft going back on the 22nd of April. And last start, not disgraced, backed up a week later there in Penang and was runner-up to Like a Jet. Of course, he won here by just under 7 lengths there 2 runs ago. So Zach Benevolent, AK Lim has got the ride, draws barrier 5 in race 5. Now, former Perak Derby place getter Glory Age, now back in Class 5 these days, and is coming off some reasonable form as he looks for a return to the winner's stall there in race number 5 on Saturday. Glory Age coming off a last start 5th to Zach Benevolent. He was beaten quite comfortably on that occasion, but has got the good record of 4 wins over the track and distance. CK Core rides the horse for the first time. That is Glory Age. He's engaged in race 5. Now we've got the stablemates working along together. Ultimate Hero is on the outside of Prince Islander, and both horses will be clashed in the Rubber Planter Handicap. That is race number 6 there on Saturday. Prince Islander coming off a last start placing, closed off well in the race won by Magic Ranger in soft going here at the last meet. And Ultimate Hero, whose form has been down in recent starts, needs a lot of luck from the outside barrier. But both horses engaged in race 6. Prince Islander will be ridden by R. Reuven. Jordan Mallion takes the ride on Ultimate Hero. Deputy Law is a horse that has been dwindling down in the ratings recently. He's down to 22 points on the CRS system, less one from last start. Also has to contend with a wide barrier draw. Saddam's got the claim on the gelding this weekend, and Deputy Law will be coming out of barrier 13 with the scratchings. And under the PK Leong banner, that is Deputy Law, who's had the 3 wins from 44 starts overall. Empire Bay also goes around in the Rubber Planter Handicap. That is race number 6. AK Lim will take the ride. The horse has got pretty good form over the 1,400 metres. In fact, he's won 4 times over the trip, and he's coming off an unplaced effort there to Jetstar Eagle, which was back on the 22nd of April. Empire Bay's had the 7 wins from 72 starts overall, now at 8 years of age, and the gelding has drawn barrier 2. That is Empire Bay. Carrying the 5-5 saddle cloth is the last start winner, Jetstar Eagle, who closed off very well in soft going and winning over 1,400 metres here back on the 22nd of April. Has to contend with a wider barrier draw this weekend, Jetstar Eagle. AK Lim takes the ride. 3 wins from 47 starts, and all of his victories have been recorded over the 1,400 metre journey. So that is Jetstar Eagle looking quite sharp there on the sand on Tuesday and goes around in race 7. Now we have the Wong Kong Fat Runners. Sir Rally working up on the inside of Uncle Glory. Uncle Glory goes around in race 1, but on the inside it's Sir Rally, who will be contesting race number 7. This horse has been dropping away in the ratings. Jay Mallion takes a ride on the gelding for the first time and was unplaced there at Penang last start behind Exuberance, but did record 3 successive placings prior to that. And that is Sir Rally, goes around in the Jackie Scooter handicap, working up on the inside of stablemate, which was Uncle Glory. Contesting race 8, the maiden race, will be Super Race, who'll be first up in Malaysia. Hasn't had a start since September last year. Has had the 12 starts overall, for the 1 second and 1/3, is coming off an unplaced effort over 1,400 metres last start. Super Race is now trained by Stephen Cook, and apprentice Ferdzriel takes the ride. That is Super Race, who draws barrier 4 in the Open Maiden there on Saturday. Now, this is the Chestnut performer, also from the Stephen Cook yard, the 3-year-old Raf Force. And Raf Force has only had the 2 race starts, one in Singapore and more recently there at Penang 2 weeks ago, when he ran 4th in the heat of the Malaysia 3-year-old championship in the race won by Sakura Japan. Looked a bit little green in the straight, and still learning about racing this guy, Raf Force, but it looks as though he's got some promise, and P. Mogan takes a ride and will take the 3 kilo claim aboard Raf Force, who draws barrier 10 in race number 8. That is the Open Maiden. Now, one horse which has got more experienced on its rivals there on Saturday in the maiden race is Divergent, with 20 starts behind him, with 3 placings to his credit. The most recent there when he was runner-up behind a Big Bitcoin in a Class 4 contest. Has been around the mark, Divergent. S.U. Lim will take the ride, and he draws barrier number 9. Divergent, a recent trial winner here at the track, also goes around in the Dententurious handicap, and that is race 8. Carrying the number 77 saddle cloth number there is Napoleon, the 3-year-old who recorded a victory over the 1,600 metres back in March of this year. Steps back to the 1,000 metres, was coming off an unplaced effort over the mile in Penang last time out. Napoleon from the stables of Wong Kong Fat, and Saddam will take the 2 kilo claim aboard Napoleon. It looks a very good chance if he can handle the step back in journey. That is Napoleon. Races in the best bet handicap. That is race number 9 over the 1,000 metres and draws barrier 5. Now, Valbury also goes around in the best bet handicap. This horse has been spec'd in the market on recent starts, coming off that last start 5th to D Great Wall in soft going back on the 21st of April, and it was runner-up here in March. So has been around the mark, Valbury, from the yard of Shan Mugam, and J. Daniel will take the 3 kilo claim there. Rides the horse for the first time. That's Valbury, and now at 5 years of age, has had the 20 starts, yet to break through, but Saturday might be the day for Valbury, who goes around in race 9. Now we've got Soon You Think, who is up on the inside of stablemate Super Victory. Soon You Think goes around in the last. That is the Miss Nathan handicap. It's only had the 4 race starts. Still at 3 years of age, HS Gill will take the ride and is coming off an unplaced effort there in KL over 1,400 metres. That is Soon You Think on the inside of Super Victory, who goes around in an earlier race on the program. Making its local debut on the weekend is a horse called Miracle Kid, which is working up on the inside of a stablemate. And Miracle Kid has had the 7 starts in Singapore. Form only moderate. Worth watching first up for the PK Leong establishment this weekend. Jackie Chua will take the ride and draws barrier 5. That is Miracle Kid, a 3-year-old by Delago Deluxe, and it goes around in race 10.